This is an emotional issue. We're talking about immigration. Those bills put what is the responsibility of the federal government onto the shoulders of local law enforcement. I think we Republicans call that an unfunded mandate. Those bills even put the responsibility of enforcing federal law on our school districts. And worst of all, those bills told businessmen and women, if you violate it, you're not going to just lose your business license, you're going to jail. The problem is not controlling the border. The problem is we don't know who is here and who could blow this country up any morning that you get up, because we have not identified even our own citizens, much less the non-citizens.
Okay, so in a conversation format.
Okay, I'm trying to be more conversation.
Right.
Well, I think we're doing what we need to do on border security, and I agree with Governor Perry. It's impossible to build a continuous fence if you've seen some of the 3,000-foot sheer bluff walls along our border. I think we're doing what we need to do. We need to continue to do a good job, but we need, you mentioned ID. That's the problem, Paul. We have not identified every non-citizen in this country.
Okay. Norman, do you favor amnesty or a guest worker program or both?
I don't favor amnesty. I definitely favor a guest worker program, and my guest worker program would be available only to those who pass a background check and have no violent criminal background and pay an appropriate fine. And by that I mean, were they brought here as children, not of their own accord? Did they walk in here on themselves? Did they overstay a visa? There are a lot of different levels. Half the doctors in our medical center have overstayed their visa, folks, because we've sat on our rears with this situation. And so I want penalty taxes on the non-citizen worker, and I want the employer to match it. I want an incentive to hire citizens first, but you got to start with that positive ID, Paul. No amnesty. If we have no pathway to legalization, if their only option is deportation, then whether you want to say you support it or not, you're supporting mass deportation. We cannot have a solution if we do not have some pathway to legalization. That is the key to this debate. I support a pathway to legalization, Paul. Right now, they don't know if they're going to get home tonight to see the kids they're supporting. They're worried about being stopped with a tail light or for any other reason, being hauled in, and then being ICE called and detained at our expense at $70 a day, and we no longer have the breadwinner coming home. Again, we agree on the criminal element. Do away with them. They wouldn't sit on death row for 10 years if I had my way. Now, you know, what cost of services
Norman Machito.
Cost of services, am I supposed to talk?
Yeah, you're supposed to talk.
Cost of services. The one big thing that hasn't even been discussed here, we haven't had time to talk about the I-9, but it's how you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, hire your employees. You complete an I-9, and the law says if the ID looks to be legitimate and the other one's qualified, you hire them. You cannot refuse to hire them. That's discrimination. Now, every time we have a raid, every time ICE comes in, every time we audit our I-9s, what happens? Those employees get run off. They don't leave. They go to employers who cheat the system. They go and be misclassified. And we no longer collect, under that fake Social Security number, we no longer collect taxes, withholding, or provide workman's comp. They go on to the emergency room when they get hurt, and they no longer pay taxes. That's why we have to ID them. Thank you. Republicans are supposed to stand for free enterprise, lower business taxes, less red tape, help the economic engines that generate our economy and generate new jobs. That's you business owners. Well, what were we doing up there? With these 108 bills, we were going to give you something else to worry about, like the Labor Department, the EEOC, the EPA, the Labor Review Board. Lord, our business owners have too much to put up with now on regulations. The last thing we needed out of our Texas legislature, and thank God, they had the good sense not to approve them. The last thing you need is another set of rules for you to run J&L sheet metal by it. Thank you. But it's just plain simple mathematics. Our birth rate, this is something you folks might want to think about this afternoon. You are not having enough children. Our birth rate in this country, black, brown, Asian combined, is less than 2.1, which you have to sustain a society. We're down to about 2.08. Since Roe v. Wade, Debbie, I know you know this, we have aborted 50 million what would have been American-born workers. We have more U.S. citizens retiring from the workforce every year than are entering the workforce. We need these immigrants, and I especially like those from south of the border because most of them are Catholic heritage, they are pro-life, they are traditional family. I think they're going to make great Republicans. Number one, replace our 1936 Social Security card with one that cannot be counterfeited on my photocopy machine. Number two, demand a criminal background check and positive ID of every non-citizen in this country. And those that are eligible to stay, that some review board decides should stay, then issue them an ID card that can only be used to work for employers who will deduct and match taxes. Cut out this misclassification. That's the three basic things. It will only work, though, based on Debbie's agreement that we have a pathway to legalization. That's not a pathway to citizenship. We're talking about a 10-year probationary period before you'd even be eligible for permanent residence, and it'd be another 5 years, right, Charles Foster, before you could be a citizen. Have any of you seen the fence out in San Diego? A bunch of telephone poles, and the surfers are surfing around it. You don't ever completely secure this border. The biggest exposure that your constituents have, Debbie, is not knowing who is here and what cells are going to be activated and when are they going to kill us. That's our problem. We're at war with radical Islam, not the people trying to mow the grass and pour the concrete. I am so glad you brought that up, because rule of law is something that is used well by every talk radio host, and they're not thinking. It's the laws we have that got us in this mess. It's our I-9 laws. I'm sure you will agree with me, Debbie. Roe v. Wade is a lousy law. Slavery was legal. Should we follow it because it was the law? It was legal to kill Jews in Germany because that was the law. We need to revise our immigration laws because they do not work. God gave us a brain. We can do more than one thing at the same time. We have to work on immigration reform. First of all, I know you're not afraid because you are never unarmed. I'm going to tell you something. If you really want to ensure the safety or protect the people of Texas, there's one thing you could do, and you could be a real hero. You could sponsor a bill that eliminates asking people applying for a driver's license if they are here legally. You could follow other states' examples. Utah just did that. Why should we sell cars and trucks to these people and then since 2009 refuse to issue a driver's license so they no longer buy liability insurance from me? I think that Arizona, Georgia, and Alabama have been the perfect test tube. Praise God. We didn't have to go through it. You business owners and the police chiefs and the sheriffs, you are the people that convinced our Texas legislator, 2/3 majority Republican. You're the people that convinced them by driving up there to testify and sitting for hours and hours, right, Darlene? Anyway, you did it. And that's why after they backed up and they looked even at the Sanctuary City bill, that's why they realized in the end that bill didn't help law enforcement, it hurt it. That bill created 4 unfunded mandates, clear unfunded mandates, more children left behind for the county to take care of, more police officer time on the street, more overtime, more federal funding for training of police officers, and more $70 a day to keep a nonviolent immigrant in jail in our prison system. Those were the reasons that the Sanctuary City bill, which was drafted by Bert Solomons, Debbie had a similar bill, they were drafted with good intentions. They were even supported by the majority of the business associations in Texas until they really got to reading and analyzing the bills. And again, my hat is off to our legislators, Republican and Democrat, for having good sense and not putting us into the situation we're seeing now. Arizona, vacant apartments, empty strip centers. They just recalled Russell Pierce, incidentally, Debbie. He's a Republican senator that filed SB 70. They recalled him. They kicked his tail out of office. In Georgia, they are, you know the story, they're trying to pick the berries and the prisoners walking off. In Atlanta, in Alabama, the governor and their Republican attorney general are both wanting to recall their law right now. Thank God Texas dodged the bullet. Refusing to issue a driver's license so they can no longer buy liability insurance because you all feel safer, that is not, look, that's like refusing an inoculation to their kids for communicable diseases. The driver's test is to see if the man knows how to drive, or woman. The driver's test should not be used as something for federal law. Don't issue them one they can travel or get on an airplane with. Issue them a non-citizen driving permit. Thank you. DREAM Act, just very quickly, I'll tell you what, I put 2 kids through the University of Texas, RTF degree for Tracy and law degree for Andy, and my kids attended an in-state tuition, and I didn't feel like I'd gotten anything free. I'm going to tell you right now, in-state tuition, I don't think that's any big deal. And then those people, incidentally, that they gave it to the bill, they've been paying sales taxes and property taxes for at least 3 years. Closing statement. Look, again, I'm going to tell you right now, folks, there are not many elected Republicans that I know of that would have been willing to come here today and do this. And I understand, and I hope all of you understand, I don't have a vote in the legislature, and Debbie Riddle does. And so, my mission, I'm going to tell you, people will have, there may even be somebody in here that agrees that from time to time I am loud and I am obnoxious. There may be a few that disagree. But
Okay, Governor Perry did that
I'll tell you
about a
one thing
year
that
ago.
everybody agrees on, Paul. When I make up my mind on something, I am persistent. And the one thing that I am going to make, that's going to be my mission, is I am going to win Debbie Riddle over on this issue. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to start right now.
The Yellow Rose of Texas. Yes, good morning.